Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah the Father and Yahushua Mashiach, his voice. Hear, O Yahsharalite, Yahuwah our mighty one is one Yahuwah. This is Brother David coming to you again to bring you our new series, The Yahsharalite Woman, the Daughters of Sarah. I noticed something in the last series. She is the target. She has a big target on her chest. Everyone. Angels, demons, devils, Neanderthals, and men. All target this black woman. You know something else that I noticed? Every time she experienced trauma, she was all alone. She had no covering. When Eve was beguiled by the serpent in the garden, Adam wasn't present. He tricked her into eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Did you know if Adam was there, it wouldn't have happened? He would have forbade her to eat it, and he would have rebuked Satan. He had the power to rebuke Satan, you know. He was the ruler of this earth. So she was isolated by the serpent, and then she was tricked into eating of the tree. Her covering was not present. What about the daughters of men? The angels came down from the heavens, from outer space. They saw these beautiful black women. Look at her, how beautiful she is. Perfect shape, perfect features, perfect everything. We know that even her body, her DNA, perfect. And they saw these women frolicking in the garden. Their covering wasn't present. What did they do? They kidnapped them. They took them. All that they chose brought forth their seed. What about after the flood? Japhet went into Europe. Japhet, the men disappeared. But we know the women remain. How do we know that? Her mitochondrial DNA was found in every European and Asian today. So they killed the men. And they took the women as booty, spoils of war, and planted their seed in her womb. And that is proven through DNA. What about the slave ships coming over here from sub-Saharan Africa when they kidnapped us? They had the men in the bottom of the ship in chains. The women were kept in a separate quarters. The trip took about 2 to 3 months. Think about this, brothers and sisters. The Europeans that were on the ship went into the women's quarters and took all that they chose, raped them repeatedly, brought forth their seed. She was isolated. She was alone. She was traumatized. Now, after all of that happened, the men could not help her. They were subdued. Their power was taken away. Now, in these modern days, the Yahsharalite woman makes a different statement. I don't need a man. He's worthless. He couldn't protect me. But yet she chooses another man. And this man that she chooses now is called the government of the United States of America. What does the government tell her? I'll feed you. I will clothe you. I will give you shelter. What can't she do? She cannot have a man in the house. No covering. She's isolated. She's alone. The strategy continues. Then what does he do? He proceeds to destroy her and the fruit that comes out of her womb, her children. Some may escape, some, very few. But her children will feed the judicial system. Her children will feed this economy. They will become merchandise. We are the largest consumer group on the planet. They will be destroyed. The fruit that comes from her womb. Then she begins to swirl. I just found out what that word means. She goes to the other humans and she says, this guy is going to take care of me. I want a better life. And then she lets this man go into her, and now she has been cut off from the commonwealth of the children of Yahsharalite. What a great strategy this devil had. So what happens when she's isolated and all alone? This young lady morphs into this, the new Yahsharalite woman. What does our young ladies do today? This is the model for all of the young ladies today, at least the ones who like to be out there in the streets. This is what they want to look like. She may bleach her skin. She may get breast implants, booty implants. Look, she has a golden weave / braids on her hair. Now remember, this is sought after today. Didn't Shaul say that a woman should not be adorned with braided hair? He didn't say you couldn't have braids. He says it should not be your adornment. In other words, you can't wear this stuff in the streets. Your adornment should be a covering. But she wears it on the outside of her covering. She wants everyone to see. She wants attention. That is forbidden in our culture, but it's forgotten. We've all experienced trauma. The only thing we know is the ways of the United States of America. And they have been destructive for us. Can't you see it? Nothing good has come out of this captivity. So she needs a man, doesn't she? Or she wants a man. So what type of man does she look for? The one they call the thug. Why does she choose him? Because they're alike. She's asleep, he's asleep. What are they looking for? To have a good time. Money. Cars. Things of this world. That's their only focus. Let's just take a look at him. It is forbidden to have tats on your body. Did you know that, brothers and sisters? But these days, it is the style. It's like the kids, when they get 16 years old, they say they want a tattoo. And the parents give it to them. Look at his body. It says, thank God. What God is he serving? Look on by his belly button. Jesus Christ. You see the cross? And that Jesus Christ is still on the cross. Where did he learn this from? The church. But the church teaches us righteousness, Brother David. No, they don't. They teach wickedness. They don't believe in applying the laws. If they did, he would not have a tattoo, nor have a graven image on his body. Look at his pants. What do they call it? Sagging. You see how destroyed our people are? So these two get together, they produce a child. They're destroyed. How are they going to raise this child? This child will be destroyed. What wickedness in this United States of America. Ladies, I feel for you. It's just about impossible for you to find a righteous man. Because this is what you're going to find. And the other men that don't do this, they have no knowledge. They can't teach you. Do you know most of the men today believe that the woman should be in control? They even say it. I hear men every day, they come into the store and they say, well, I have to ask my wife first. I can't do nothing without asking my wife what to do. And I say to myself, wow, we are really messed up. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. This is how incredible this type of thing looks to me. Did Satan have a great strategy here? Myself and Brother Dash, I'm still on this because this is these strategies that he has is incredible. He has destroyed whole generations with this behavior. Why can't black women find men? By Jamilah-Asali I, Lemieux. Look at the question. What type of man? Any man? A good man? Or a righteous man? You can count the righteous man out. One day I was sitting here talking to my wife and we were just joking around. And she said, before I met you, I asked the Father if he would send me a righteous man. And he did. Then she said, if I had known that to have a righteous man, I was going to have to go through all of this, I would have asked for a puppy. What is she saying in all reality? She didn't know she had to step up her game. She thought it was a one-sided affair. Got a righteous man, he's going to take care of everything. I don't have to do anything. No. A righteous man is going to challenge you. A righteous man is going to cause you to step up your game. A righteous man is going to chastise you and correct your behavior and teach you. No. The righteous man, you can cross him off the list. Then they say they're looking for a good man. What is a good man equal to? A sugar daddy. That's what a good man is in their mind. Someone who's going to take care of them and spend their money on her. One-sided affair again. What about the any man? Well, the any man is just for sexual purposes. So what are you looking for? Miss Jamilah-Asali I, Lemieux, is going to tell you right now what to look for. Essence.com, single black women. You can go and read this whole article at Essence. If you want a partner, then sister, be your beautiful black self. Okay. What if her heart is desperately wicked? Only thing she's talking about is the outward appearance. Talk with people who are in successful relationships. That is a good start. Check out the work of romance gurus and advice givers. Don't you do that. These are the people who are coming from the imagination of their own mind. But be mindful to watch out for those who have damning things to say about black women or black men. Hold it 1 second. Do you know what she's saying? Don't call out evil. Don't call out wickedness. What does she say next? And instead, focus on those who offer positive, affirming, and loving words of encouragement. Speak smooth things to me. Speak lies. The book is right on point. We are in the last days. The ladies will listen to Miss Jamilah-I Lemieux. They won't go to the book. They'll go to people like her, and they'll say, she knows what she's talking about. But everything that she is telling the ladies to do is twisted. Take care of your mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional health. How do you do that? Where's the instruction manual? I looked for it in this article. I did not see it. Work on being the best person that you can be. How do you do that? Where's the instruction manual? Not just to improve your romantic outlook. Romance. These are European things. This is what they've created. Every woman wants you to romance them. Do you know what romancing is? You come, you pick them up, you spend your money on them, you take them to the movies, you buy them all kinds of things, you buy them a lobster or a steak dinner, and then you take them to the hotel and have sex. No, that is not our culture. That is European culture. But so that you will thrive in all aspects of your life. But never ever buy into the notion that being born black and female makes you any less worthy for anything than anyone else. It's the only thing that she said that I agree with. You are the mother of the earth. You are worthy to be glorified and praised, but not if you're living like a whore. Can you praise a woman that's living like a whore? How do you know if a woman is living like a whore? How do you find this mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional health? How do you work on being the best person that you can be? Miss Lemieux did not show you the instruction manual, but I will. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10 to 16. Start from verse 1. Read the context. You'll find that the king is teaching his son what to look for in a wife. Men, pay attention. This is what you look for when you're looking for a wife. Verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? He starts out with a question. She's hard to find. She's very rare. Her price is far above rubies. Verse 11. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her. Can you trust in these ladies here in America? Do you know that the ladies here in America are the number one cheaters today? Now they're in the workforce. They're out there working amongst men. Men look at them in the way that they're dressed and say, she looks good. They know she's married. She knows she's married. But she gets with them anyway. What is happening today? We have been destroyed. But the virtuous woman does not have any of this behavior. Her husband can trust in her. He can put his life in her hands so that he have no need of spoil. He doesn't need anything because she's going to supply it. Verse 12. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 364 days a year. That's the type of woman that you look for, men. But can you find her? Verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. No one has to tell her what to do. She does this normally. She goes and gets the wool and the flax and makes it into yarn so that she can sew her clothes. Verse 14. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She's an importer. She only imports the best. Verse 15. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. Before the sun comes up, she's up and at it. She feeds the whole house and her maids. Ladies, pay attention to this. You make it into the kingdom, you will have so many different women trying to attach themselves to you. It would be overwhelming. They know that it would be better to serve you than to be left outside with the dogs and the sorcerers and the whoremongers. Verse 16. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands, she planteth a vineyard. Did he consider the field? No, she did. Did he buy it? No, she did. Who planted the vineyard? Did he do that? No, she did. Who's going to enjoy the fruit of her labors? He will. Verse 17. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. Our women are naturally strong, but what has America done? Turned them into damsels in distress. They're so dainty, they can't even lift a bag. And the men come running to their aid to help them to lift this bag. When a woman comes, oh, we have to run and open the door for her. These are American values. The women that we have don't need any of that stuff. They're strong. They're powerful. They're not damsels in distress. In sub-Saharan Africa, you see how the ladies perform. They have a baby on their back. They have kindling wood in one arm, and they have a big barrel on top of their head full of water. Verse 18. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good, and her candle goeth not out by night. What merchandise? Verse 19. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. Oh, she's making yarn. Verse 20. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She has an outreach ministry. She takes care of those who are less fortunate than she. Verse 21. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. Okay, spring, summer, winter, or fall. This young lady has it all prepared. Her family is ready for all seasons. Verse 22. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Must be beautiful. Her clothing is silk and purple, only the finest materials. 23. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth amongst the elders of the land. How is he known in the gates? What is the context of what we are reading? The context is speaking about this virtuous woman. She has made her husband powerful in the gates. The elders know of her fame. They respect her husband because they know that his house is in order. Verse 24. She maketh fine linen and selleth it. Here's your clothing store in the kingdom. The lady's got that handled. And delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Who's the supplier? The virtuous woman. Verse 25. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. Ladies, can you say that strength and honor are your clothing? Don't guess about it. Go over this and see if all of this applies to you. And the things that you are lacking, work on it. Verse 26. She openeth her mouth with wisdom. How can she do that if she has no knowledge? Wisdom is using the knowledge that you have obtained to help others. So how can she open her mouth with wisdom unless she has the knowledge? That means she studies. She understands the book. And in her tongue is the law of kindness. She's not railing. She's not speaking loud. She's not attacking her husband. She comes with this meek and quiet spirit, even though she's done all of this. Verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household. Her household is her focus, and eateth not the bread of idleness. No, she's not on the cell phone doing social media. She's got too many things to do. Verse 28. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Do your children call you blessed? Does your husband praise you? This is the model, ladies, that you are to follow. Look what the common factor is. Her husband, her husband, her husband, her household, her children. That's her focus. She's not trying to be above the man. She's an asset, not a liability. Verse 29. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Isn't that what you want to be? You don't want to be just mediocre, do you? Don't you want to be pleasing to your husband? Pleasing to Yahuwah? Verse 30. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth, respects Yahuwah, she shall be praised. How do you know if a woman fears or respects Yahuwah? She would have followed all of the criteria that preceded this verse. She would love, she would fear, she would respect her husband. That's the woman that Yahuwah praises. So what about the other women, Brother David? Those are the women that he hates. Verse 31, give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Her works precede her. They know of her fame. They know of her commitment. She's made her husband powerful in the gates. The other men respect him because his house is in order. 1 Peter chapter 3. Now, we're getting ready to get into something that is very controversial. I found through my many years of ministry, and there are many, in the streets, in great edifices, that this is what women hate the most. Verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands. Do you see that word, subjection? I'm using profanity right now. I am cursing at the ladies. When women hear this word subjection, they think slavery. That if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. Do you hear what that's saying? Say you have a husband that doesn't keep the word, doesn't keep any Sabbaths, don't do any feast days, don't read the book. He's just drinking, smoking, watching football, hanging out with his buddies. This book is telling you, you are not authorized to throw scripture in his face. You cannot use the word whatsoever. Look what it says. If your husband does not obey the word, they also may without the word, that means you cannot use the scripture, be won by the conversation of the wives. Then what conversation is that? Verse 2, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Meek, humble, quiet spirit. The law of kindness is in her mouth. Verse 3, whose adorning, let it not be the outward adorning of plaiting of hair. Here we go with this plaiting of hair again. They must have had a looking glass into the future, because that's all you see today. And the women are wearing them out. That is their covering, their adorning. And the wearing of gold or putting on of apparel. That should not be your primary focus. What should be then, Brother David? Verse 4. But let it be the hidden man of the heart in that which is not corruptible. Even the ornament, check it out, ladies, of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of Yahuwah of great price. We're talking about correcting the behavior of the women. I've been preaching in the streets for many years. As soon as you show this to women, do you know what they say? Well, what about the man? What is he supposed to do? That is not the issue here. The focus is you. This meek and quiet spirit is something that you can say really does not exist here in America. I've only seen it once in my lifetime. I'm about 60 years old. I've only seen it once. And that's the wife that I'm with today. No matter how I try to bother her and to make her come out of her bag, she doesn't. It's just naturally in her. Look what this meek and quiet spirit is to Yahuwah, which is in the sight of Yahuwah of great price. So what about the loud spirit? What about the woman who decides she's going to throw the scripture in his face? What about the woman whose adorning is the plaiting of hair? What about this woman who doesn't have a chaste conversation? What is she worth? Nothing. In the sight of Yahuwah, she is considered evil. Verse 5. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in Yahuwah. Let's stop. Look what it says there, the old time. What does the book say? Come back to the old ways, which is the good way, and ye will find rest for your souls. Do you see why you have no rest? You have to return to the old ways. When we go into the kingdom, will there be any of this new stuff? You know, the big mama, the woman being above the man, the women walking around with braided hair in the open? No, there won't. We shall return to the old ways. Look what it says next. The holy women, those women who have been set apart. Like the virtuous woman who trusted in Yahuwah. Do you trust in Yahuwah? If you say you do, here is the proving ground. Adorn themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. There is that evil curse word again. Subjection. Look at the women who trusted in Yahuwah. What did they adorn themselves with? Being in subjection to their own husbands. It says it right here in verse 5. But look at verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. She called him master. Brother David, you must be out of your mind if you think I'm going to call this Negro sitting here on the couch master. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do. He doesn't read the Bible. He doesn't work. He doesn't do all of these things. Hold it. We are the product of the choices that we made. You still have to obey him. And he is your master, whose daughters ye are. Now, this is the name of our video series, The Daughters of Sarah. Women don't want to be the daughters of Sarah. There's only a select group of women who can carry this out. Whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well, and are not afraid with any amazement. What are you afraid of? You're afraid to call him master? Does that diminish your authority? Is that why you can't call him master? Are you afraid to be in subjection to your own husband? Are you afraid to trust in Yahuwah because it won't go your way? Well, there's nothing about this book that's going to be the ways of any of us. We are relearning how to carry ourselves in the old ways, which is the good way. Now, ladies, if you have a husband, and I know that many of us do. Well, not me, but, just speaking about the ladies. But you have a husband. You have come to this knowledge. You are awakening to who you are. But he's not there yet. If you want to win him over, if you really love him, if you really care about him, you will follow the instruction manual. What do? Don't throw scripture in his face. Come to him with a meek, humble, quiet spirit. Serve him like the king that he is. Yeah. You have to be in subjection to him. And if you, by some chance, were to say, yes, master, this man is going to say, what is wrong with this woman? Let me go to this channel that she's looking at. I have to see what it is that she's studying that has turned her around, that she feels that I am her master and she's doing everything that I say. This is the only way you're going to win him. You've tried everything. Everything has failed. Try the book. Try the instruction manual. Because if you don't, these women are waiting in the wings. This is our inheritance. The gold is mine, the silver is mine, the cattle on 1,000 hills belongs to me, saith Yahuwah. The people are his. In sub-Saharan Africa, there are people who are awaiting our return. You know what they're going to say? These are the children of the Most High. These are the ones who have come through the tribulation period and have washed their robes. These are the rulers of the earth. These are the gods of this earth. Let us go and attach ourselves to them. It'll be better to serve them than to be out here with the dogs, the sorcerers, and the whoremongers. They're going to be ready to attach themselves to you, ladies, to be your maids, your servants. They will do anything you say. They will practically worship you because they know who you are. But say if you drop the ball, say you don't want to change your behavior because you want to keep the authority that the Europeans gave you here in this country over the men, these women are ready, willing, and able to take your place. The daughters of Ham, the daughters of Shem, and even the remnant of the daughters of Japhet. They haven't been destroyed like we have. They don't need to relearn their behavior. They already carry themselves like that right now. It is us who have to catch up to the old ways. They're following the old ways. Look at the picture. Look at the young lady right here in the middle. You see she has braided hair? But she has it covered. It's not forbidden to braid it. It's just, you just have to cover it when you come out into the open. No one else should see your beauty except for your husband. They will be ready, willing, and able to do everything that you don't want to do. They will be in subjection to their husband. They will call him master. They will be proud to be joined to the children of Yahsharalite. Now, this is a wake-up call for the ladies. We're going to do a series on this. I'm going to cover everything. I try to be thorough. I have to be thorough with this because I love you, our ladies here in America. I'm just talking about America because this is our reality. I love our women. Do you know we have women who are down, do or die? They will stay with their man. They will go to jail with him. They will die with him. We have some powerful women who are behind us. But if you don't change your behavior and line up according to this book, you're going to be left out there with the dogs, the sorcerers, and the whoremongers. This is not a lesson to point fingers, but this is a lesson of love. Let's prepare ourselves together to go into the kingdom. Continue to part 2. Shalom.